All right, hello everyone. We are doing a double feature this week. We just saw Aladdin on Monday, and we both loved it. So this is going to be more of a positive episode. It might surprise you, even. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. Anyway,
We're gonna go on a journey together.
so we are gonna. It's gonna be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the movie. First of all, okay, let me just adjust real quick.
I feel like you did this at the beginning.
I
of
know,
the
I
last
did
one.
too. I know. Okay, all right. Oh, I have this pain in my knee. I don't know what's going on.
Oh.
I'm like what did I do? I don't do anything. I work out. I try and work out every week, but whatever. Anyway, so the first thing I wanted to say is that did you notice that the only people that didn't have accents were the genie, Aladdin, and Jasmine? Oh, and the handmaiden. Everyone else had an accent.
Yeah.
They were all like American.
They had non-regional
Midwestern.
American,
Yeah.
which I think actually I didn't really notice it until you brought it up now, but I kind of like that as opposed to just giving them the generic British accent. But they're foreign because they have a British accent.
Or like they're really fake, like they're trying to sound foreign,
Yep,
but
the
it's like
fake
so
Arabic
obvious
accent.
that it's bad. Yeah.
So I actually almost prefer me not noticing the accent as opposed to me thinking, oh, there's a stupid accent. Or there's a British accent in Arabia, which doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
So, but yeah, I didn't really think about it until you brought it up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So the whole what am I trying to say? I don't know.
I do have an observation.
Okay.
So the movie opens up and Will Smith is on a boat with his two kids and he's like, let me tell you a story. And I got really excited because I thought, okay, everything he's telling now is going to be a story, so I can just suspend my disbelief right at the beginning, which I really appreciate because on occasion, if the movie is over the top enough, it gets difficult for me to believe it. And I knew this movie was going to be over the top, but since they framed it as him telling his kids a story, I was on board. I was like, let's do this. Get as wild as you want because he's telling his kids a story, so it doesn't bother me anymore that there's weird things happening. But then the movie was so captivating and I liked it so much that I didn't even mind in the end when it was revealed that it wasn't a story, it was his. He was recounting the fact that he was the genie and Aladdin set him free.
Right.
And now he's a man with children. And I thought, I'm on board with this anyway because the story was just so fun.
I know.
So they did a really good job. I loved it. And my expectations for this movie were almost non-existent. I wouldn't have gone and seen it if you hadn't asked me to go.
Yeah.
It would have just come and gone. And so I think that helped as well because I was like, I'll go. Yeah. And it was just so fun and so clever.
It was.
If you had told me before the movie, if you had said, Samantha, you're going to laugh out loud because of something being genuinely funny at this movie, I would say, you're joking.
Yeah.
But I laughed out loud when the jams part, when he was the prince, and he was just going through all the jams. The genie was like, you need to move away from the jams. Like, I was laughing out loud. I really liked it.
Dude, that scene, he's like, I've never been more embarrassed in my life. I was like, that was great. Like, it was clever. It was funny. It was like, and I like that it wasn't a scene-for-scene remake of the original.
I think that's also where they went better than
exactly.
Beauty and the Beast. Yeah.
Right. And it was just like, well, and that's, I mean, you know how I felt about Beauty and the Beast. Like, my expectations were like, okay, rock bottom, because I had high expectations for Beauty and the Beast, and I was very disappointed. But it was great, because other than Will Smith, everyone was virtually unknown. I had seen Jasmine in Power Rangers, which, as I've told you, I watched like 6 times, and each time I've fallen asleep, so I've never seen the ending.
It's a great loss for cinema lovers everywhere.
And I always fall asleep around the same time in the movies.
I like that you keep trying, though. I mean, after 1 or 2 times, you think you'd just say, not for me, but
I mean, it was probably more like 3, but
Oh, okay.
but 6 sounds funnier. So
It sounds
just,
sadder.
It sounds. Oh, thanks. It's streaming. It's not that sad.
Oh, okay.
I'm not like renting it or anything. And I'm like, oh, it's on Netflix or
Yeah.
whatever.
Also, why do you start it at the beginning each time? Why don't you just
I
start
don't
it
know.
where he falls asleep?
Because I'm like, this is such a complicated storyline that I have to know
Oh,
what
is it?
happens. No, it's not
Oh,
at all.
okay.
It's very simple. But then each time I think of the guy Dacre Montgomery or whatever, he looks just like Zac Efron, and I was like, it's like a poor man Zac Efron.
I don't.
Oh,
I don't know who he
in
is.
he was in the 2nd season of Stranger Things. He played Billy, the really shitty kid.
He looks like Zac Efron.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, not in that.
Oh.
Not in that role, but yeah,
Okay.
he does kind of look a lot like him. Yeah,
Ah, I
very
see.
like kind of that like basic white boy, like he's attractive. Like
Wait, you're saying Zac Efron is a basic white boy, or are you saying this guy is a basic
saying-
white boy?
they're all basic white boys. What's that mean?
No, I'm just trying to get it straight.
No, it's like it's like there's like that look in Hollywood. There's kind of like that basic look that all those like like
I get what you're saying.
like you could comparatively say like someone like a young
sort of an
Leonardo
all-American look.
DiCaprio,
Kind of an
yeah,
all-American.
right, like
yeah.
blue eyed, kind of blondish, like a young Leonardo DiCaprio has a lot of similarities to Zac Efron. You know what I mean?
No, but
I mean like it looks like they both got blue eyes, they both have like lighter hair, like they're
well, Zac.
like they're very like heartthrobby, like they have the basic like heart, like they're good looking. They're just like they're kind of just, I don't know. What am I saying?
No, I think I know what you're saying. They're the
Yeah.
kind of guy that nobody would ever call ugly,
Right,
but
exactly.
they're not necessarily drop dead gorgeous.
Right.
They're just they're just attractive.
Right, exactly.
Of course, they're attractive sort of sense.
Like in like kind of like almost like a generic sense, but like so we totally just went on a tangent there, or I did anyway. Whereas the Mena Musad or whatever, the guy who played Aladdin was super cute.
He was
Like,
cute. He had like
very
a
cute,
very
yeah.
charming sort of boyishness.
He did,
to
yeah.
him that
Like,
I-
because you were like when he first came on, you were like, oh my god, he's cute.
It surprised me because I was just expecting someone a little more squeaky clean or something, maybe. I don't know how to say it. I don't know what I'm getting at. It surprised me because he seemed more charming and boyish than what I was expecting.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, he I thought he was great for the role.
I thought he did a good job as well.
Yeah. But so I like that the genie kind of had like because there's a lot of fan theories that in the cartoon that the guy who's in the beginning who has the lamp and like the fry maker and everything, remember that?
No, I was probably
Oh, so you haven't seen it for a
child
long
the last
time.
I saw Aladdin.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I saw it
I don't
last
remember.
year.
I don't
so.
remember how he even got the lamp. Did he have to go in the tiger cave to get the lamp?
He did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That part was very
Okay.
spot on, yeah. He had to go in the tiger cave. He wasn't allowed to touch anything, and there was that whole like diamond in the rough thing, which in the cartoon was decided by like it was like a spinning gold thing that like revealed, like it was like almost like a crystal ball.
Oh, okay.
Kind of, but a little different. But anyway, and so this was kind of strange that they were like, oh yeah, no, that's him. That's the one that's the diamond in the rough. You know.
Oh, yeah.
You notice
But
that
I
they were
thought-
like, that's him.
Well, I
You know?
kind of liked it because I see what you mean, but I also kind of liked it because he had snuck into a heavily guarded palace.
Yeah.
And he was able to get through all the guards without getting caught, so that's why the bird was like, diamond in the rough.
Oh yeah, yeah,
They had,
yeah.
okay.
Okay. Yeah,
he
that
was
makes sense.
superior to the other thieves that they had tried.
Well, and I think that it's like, I guess I always thought that diamond in the rough was kind of like someone who's more moral than others, like morally, like but I guess that makes sense that that would be, it would be not that he's more like morally right, but he's like very sneaky, or he's very good at stealing or something, or he's not bogged down by greed or something like that.
Yeah, the implication of Diamond in the Rough is that you might not look past someone's exterior to see that they're worthwhile and genuine underneath.
Right.
Their rough appearance overshadows the fact that they're worthwhile. So his talent would get overlooked because he's just like a straight urchin, basically.
Right.
I think.
But he's also, I mean, he says in the song, he says something like, I only steal what I have to eat, or something, or I only steal what I need to like survive, basically. Mm-hmm. And you know, obviously it's during a time where they don't have stuff like welfare and everything like that. So people who are starving in the street, it's kind of like, well, you know, like maybe don't be peasants.
It's that easy.
Well, that's like what I feel like a lot of, there's a lot of people who may not like empathize with that kind of position, that person is in that kind of position, especially if they have been surrounded by riches their whole life. They might be like, oh, well, next time don't be a peasant, like I'm gonna tell you, like, and it's, which, you know, if you're, especially during that time, if you're born in that kind of environment, I would imagine it is extremely hard to move away from poverty.
Yeah, I doubt many people worked their way out of that life.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's like, and you know, he's an orphan, so he's maybe like, I'm gonna guess Aladdin is like 17, 18. He's pretty young, and he's a teenager, right? And Jasmine, same thing. You know, so for someone who has literally spent his entire life on the streets and just like begging to survive or stealing to survive, and then realizing that he's very good at like sleight of hand, why would you ever like think outside of that box that you're stuck in, because that's just been your whole life?
Yeah, it's what you know.
It's what you know, exactly. Yeah. And you know, we're getting like way deep into this.
That could also go hand in hand with Diamond in the Rough, because I think if you're born under really terrible circumstances, the majority of people probably wouldn't have the vision to see beyond those, to pull themselves out of those circumstances. So the Diamond in the Rough thing is, he has the ambition to possibly get out of that lifestyle.
Right,
you know?
He does, yeah.
So I think that also is why he was picked out, because he has the skill to see himself as more than a peasant.
Right.
Like impoverished. Even though his current circumstances are impoverished.
Right.
He is able to look beyond that and dream of bigger things.
I agree, yeah. And I mean, he's always, and it could be it could be an ethical thing too, because he's always helping people out. You know, like that kid, he gave the figs to the kid. You know, in the cartoon, he gave him bread, but I mean, same thing, it's food. But I don't know. So let's talk about the Cave of Wonders and everything. I like what they did with that. It was very similar to the cartoon.
Okay.
Like, it was like spot on. But and I think I said this to you in the movie, is that when he's walking through, there's all those like coins scattered on the ground. I'm like, so he's not supposed to touch anything, but he's like barefoot, I think.
Yeah.
And also, so he's not supposed to touch any treasure, but there's coins scattered everywhere, so it's like actually impossible to not touch anything.
Yeah.
And also, that is the most well-lit cave in the world.
I know.
Like,
he didn't even need a torch.
Like, even when it all closed off, it was still like super well lit. I was like, it looks like what my living room looks like at night.
Yeah, where'd all the light come from? There wasn't even torches on the walls. It was just so natural. It was the glinting of the treasure, I guess.
I guess so. I mean, you know, but it was just, I was like, what the hell? Like, I mean, and I get it, because it's, you know, suspension of disbelief. It's a lot of magic and stuff like that. But, so when he rubbed the lamp and then the genie came out, I was just like, they really crossed the uncanny valley with
I don't know why
genie.
why did they use a computer animated top half of Will Smith when they could have just used Will Smith and painted him blue.
Yeah,
it was really bad.
It was weird.
I also didn't like the CGI monkey.
I agree with you.
I mean, you can train animals. You can train monkeys. An over-reliance on CGI is something that's happening across the board in movies, and it's just getting worse, and I like it even less.
I do too.
And I agree with you about the genie.
And you can really tell that
it's
Abu
lazy.
is... Yeah, it is. Like, it's... And,
which is ironic, because it takes a lot of work to do that. But.
Right. But it makes you uncomfortable. And I kept wanting him to just turn back into his, like, regular, normal self. Because every time he become the genie, I'd be like, oh, I just, like, oh.
I don't like it.
I don't like this. Yeah. And, with Abu, you could totally tell that he was not real.
A fake monkey.
I mean, in Russia, too. Which I can understand why they would make him CGI, because it is a tiger, and tigers are predators. But, you know, like, did you ever see Life of Pi?
No.
Okay, Life of Pi had a CGI tiger, and there was only one part where I could tell that it was a CGI tiger, and that was when the tiger's head was in his lap and he was, like, petting it, because they were both dying, basically.
Oh, okay.
But it was the best and most phenomenal looking CGI I had ever seen. It was so well done.
Really?
You could see the muscles rippling on the back, every single hair moving. It was, oh my god. That's actually, you'd probably like that movie.
Yeah, maybe I'll check it out. I got really, the trailer showed a zebra in a sinking ship acting scared, and so I never wanted to see the movie because of the zebra.
Full disclosure, like, spoiler alert, and this is not a spoiler-free podcast, everyone, but, the only animal that survives is the tiger.
Yeah. I saw the trailer, and I thought, ooh, I don't want to see this movie, because I don't like scared animals.
No. I know,
maybe that sounds weird, but...
No, it does, that is
Did you ever see the movie War Horse?
No. I didn't want to see it because it sounded so depressing.
I had to leave. There's a scene that takes place, I think, in, like, no man's land. It's like World War One.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a scene where the horse... Like, it makes me sad just thinking about it right now. There's a scene where the horse trips over, like, barbed wire or something. And I was with my mom, and I said, I'm just going to go to the bathroom because I didn't...
But
everything was okay. I think, if I remember correctly, it ended up, like, the horse ended up coming home and everything. I can't remember for sure because it's been a while, but I think there was a relatively happy ending, but it was really sad. Like, really hard to watch.
Right.
Yeah,
it's a serious case of PTSD.
I don't...
Horse PTSD.
HPTSD. HPTSD. I don't like things that involve animals being treated cruelly.
Well,
or animals that are scared. If animals are scared as well, I like it.
I get it, yeah. In Life of Pi, they're not, but they're not mistreated, but they are dying.
Yeah.
It's a sinking ship, you know?
I know, and I know it's a part of life. But I can choose not to, you know.
Yeah.
I can choose the movies that the scenes that I take in.
I agree.
Is what I mean, you know.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll see Life of Pi.
It is very quick though.
Yeah.
If that makes you feel better. I read the book too, and I actually kind of like the movie better than I like the book. Yeah. The book was good, but it dragged on a lot. Whereas the movie was very, very beautifully well done, and the guy who was in it, who played Pi, was he was great. It was like his first movie ever, and he did a really good job. That was a good movie.
Maybe I'll.
I keep talking about other movies that I really want to watch. I think I have it. I'm not sure.
Oh.
I really need to make like an Excel sheet of all the movies I own because I just recently bought The Ninth Gate twice. So I was like,
the 10th Gate.
I don't even like
Johnny Depp
that
much.
The
18th Gate. Why'd you buy it then?
Because it's kind of a spooky movie. It's a little weird.
Spooky.
I like the movie, but I'm just not a huge fan of Johnny Depp. So, but it is like it's about this guy who's trying to find this like book of Lucifer or something, and he's like obsessed with finding it. And there's this one scene that really freaked me the fuck out when I saw it. Like really freaked me out. So of course I bought it because I love scary shit. Anyway, I'm like, murder and horror, yay!
That voice, I never heard,
yay! Okay, so I wrote more notes.
Oh, okay.
down.
Well, let's hear your notes.
So my notes are Jafar was very just really he's just kind of there. He wasn't. I just wanted him to be so much creepier, and he wasn't. And I didn't really like that actor. I didn't think he did that good of a job.
Oh, I kind of liked him. I
Did
thought he was
you?
okay.
I don't know. Richard E. Grant is my Jafar.
He would be a good
White
Jafar.
Jafar.
I agree. He would be a good Jafar.
He would. He'd be
Because
very
he's got
creepy.
like a snaky sort of creepiness.
He does, yeah. Also, did you notice that? I don't know if you remember, but near the end, there's like a scene where Jafar turns into a snake. Not in the new one, in the original one.
Oh no!
Yeah.
The only thing I remember about the cartoon is Jasmine is in an hourglass at one point.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, I was wondering if they were gonna do that, and I was like kind of hoping that they wouldn't, because there was a scene where she was like seducing Jafar. Yeah. She was like fake seducing him.
In the
cartoon.
Okay,
Yeah.
Was she wearing like a red outfit?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember
Yeah,
that.
like my little one up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, your beard's all twisted." I love Jasmine. She's my fave. But anyway, I was like, "Oh, please don't make her seduce him." Like it's just like I'm like, what are they gonna do? But anyway, I did notice that they did make a reference to the snake, because there was like not like a fountain, but there was something in the middle of that courtyard that had this gigantic snake around it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
Oh,
I thought
I
that
didn't
was
notice
really
that.
cool. Like I was like, yes, they made a reference to the snake.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it was I mean it was huge, but anyway, it was kind of cool. But so speaking of Jafar, there is something that I read, and this was on Tumblr. It was from Good Queen Aria, like Aria? Yeah.
Good Queen Aria looked out
On the feast of Stephen,
and the snow they round about,
and then Chris Van Dieven.
I'm so glad you went with that.
the moonlight. I hate Uncle Jamie.
I hate Uncle Jamie.
We're referencing Love Actually.
I love that when his bodyguard starts singing and Hugh Grant makes that like,
He's like, what?
sort of face.
You can sing, my God.
One of my favorite parts in the movie.
I love it. Come down, Plumpy. We should
Too
do an
much
episode of
info,
Love
Dad.
Actually on
Christmas
Christmas time.
episode.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, so this is from goodqueenaria.tumblr.com. Thank you very much if you're listening. You're great.
Yeah, sure she is.
You probably aren't, but I don't know your name, but I wanted to give her,
Sure, I get it. We don't want to get sued.
by someone posting
By
something
good,
on Tumblr.
supposedly good Queen Aria.
Anyway, what she did say was, she said that the main thing that really struck me was the expansion of Jafar's character. Instead of just being greedy for the sake of being greedy, he's given a backstory similar to Aladdin's as a financially disadvantaged thief who schemed his way into a position of power. This reframes him from being just the antagonist, but also Aladdin's direct foil. That change enriches the whole story, not by woobifying Jafar. I have no idea what that means. Woobifying.
It's a typo, and you're just like hoping it is a real word. Tomorrow at work, you should say something in a meeting like,
It's totally
"Don't be
woobifying.
woobifying us." I
gotta
gotta look it up. I gotta look it up.
You should.
How
Is
it
it
spelled?
It's it's WOOBIFYING. Anyway, not by woobifying Jafar, but by giving the villain more depth and motivation, while also showing the hero what he is in danger of becoming near the end. I thought that was I thought that was a really interesting perspective and observation, because I was like, that's right, they did. They gave him a little bit more of a backstory, which doesn't necessarily make him more of an empathetic character. However, it is, as she said, or I don't know, it could be he, as they said, it is a direct foil to Aladdin.
It's useful in showing the path that Aladdin is on.
Exactly.
I really liked that Aladdin starts out with sort of a good moral compass and a heart of gold, but after he starts using wishes and he sort of gets what he wants, he doesn't do like a 180. He just sort of does a gradual slip into, he starts thinking he's entitled to things, and he starts saying, Genie, maybe I'm not going to set you free because I'm basically a prince and I need to use my wish for something to help with. And so it's all just sort of a gradual sliding down, which I thought was an interesting part of the story. It's intriguing.
I mean, I think they made him a morally better character in this than in the cartoon.
Yeah.
Because in the cartoon, he's like, oh yeah, Genie, I decided I'm not going to set you free. And Genie's like, what the heck? We had, like, an agreement, And I don't know. I never liked that in that because I was kind of like, that's a really shitty thing to do. To be like, hey, you're a slave and I'm going to set you free so you can never be a slave again. But guess what? Fuck you. Now you're still my slave.
I guess I don't understand why Aladdin heard... Because early on, before he used any wishes, he heard the story about the genie being trapped and how nobody ever sets him free.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, why wouldn't Aladdin just set him free with his first wish and forget the rest of them?
Well, except for he had to get out of the cave.
But he didn't technically use a wish to get out of the cave.
That's true.
And he didn't find out about that until they were in that tent. Okay. But anyway, a wooby is a name for any type of character who makes you feel extremely sorry for them. So we're learning something.
Okay, so they weren't making us feel sorry for him.
Basically, the first thing you think to say when you see the wooby is, "Aw, poor baby." Woobification of a character is a curious, audience-driven phenomenon, sometimes divorced from the character's canonical morality.
Oh,
that's interesting.
That's like how people feel about Loki.
Yes, we learned something today.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, because girls are like all over Loki. They're like, oh, poor baby. And I'm like, really? Like, Loki's such a piece of shit.
I think Loki's an interesting character, but yeah, I don't feel
a lot of empathy towards him.
I know exactly what you mean. There are women who are like, oh, he's so cute, or oh, he's like an anti-hero, or people are like into.
I was actually, so like a little sidebar, I was actually reading it's a sample of a book by Anne Rule, and she had worked with Ted Bundy in like a suicide call center.
He works in a suicide call?
Yeah, fucking crazy. Anyway, and she said that she gets letters from women like all over the world who are like, oh, I love Ted. I love him so much and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And that makes me think of what people are like with Loki, is that it's like, oh, we want to worship you. And it's like, why?
I think there's, I think there's kind of like a fixer-upper mentality where some people are attracted to fixer-uppers.
Yeah.
In human form,
Just stop murdering girls, babe. Like, that's all you gotta do, man. Like, don't be a psycho.
Is he still alive?
Ted Bundy, no, he was executed.
That's what I thought.
He fought hard to not get the death penalty, but they were like, no, you killed a bunch of women, so bye. And he was executed by, I think, electric chair.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yikes.
But, I mean... Don't kill people. That's the lesson to take away from today, people, is don't murder.
Aladdin, and also don't murder.
Yes. And anyway, all my conversations end up going back to murder somehow, because I'm just obsessed with true crime. That's fine. I'm normal. I'm not normal. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little crazy.
I thought this movie was a really good role for Will Smith.
Yes.
I think
I'm glad you came back to the movie.
I think he's had some drier parts of late. And I think
a lot of his stuff hasn't done that well.
Yeah, I think he...
Recently.
I hope if Will Smith ever listens to this, I don't want him to get offended, but I think he maybe was chasing an Oscar for a while, and he was picking roles that he thought might get him there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but that's kind of what I surmised. And I think that this one, it kind of looked like he was having fun. And I think his real talent is on the side of comedy. Maybe not full-fledged comedy, like it doesn't have to be the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yep.
But just a little bit of goofiness and a little bit of comedy mixed in. I think he really shines. And like the movies that he did really well in the 90s, like Independence Day, Men in Black, Wild Wild West. Well, I don't know if Wild Wild West was a real hit, but I think, like...
It wasn't. It was...
His... I think he has a spark, and if he fans that flame, I think he does really well, and this genie role was a really good role for him.
I think so,
because
too.
It was going back to that.
But one of my favorite movies of his is I Am Legend.
Yeah, I like I Am Legend, but I have issues with the fake zombies.
Oh,
so
the hemokites?
I can't give it its full... I can't give it its full... like a full A+, because I think it really dropped the ball. But I agree, there are aspects of the movie that I really like.
I'm curious as to what you think about them, but I think we should continue on with
they're
Aladdin.
just, fake.
Oh, yeah, they look very CGI.
Oh, they're terrible.
Yeah, I
mean, if I made a B-level horror movie in the 70s, my monsters would look more realistic than a big-budget sci-fi movie made in the...
Or you get like
2000s?
H.R. Geiger or something to do your monsters.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It looked better than whoever worked on the monsters and whatever IT guy was sitting in a basement creating these monsters.
I think that's a kind of like a reference back to the Blue Genie, is that people are relying too much on CGI.
Yeah.
And they should be relying, and it's like what I don't know if you remember when I told you that I was watching like some sort of documentary about people that do puppetry, and they're saying that puppetry is dying.
Yes.
It's a dying art, but it's really good art.
Yeah.
They have, Jurassic Park came out in 93 or something, and that is still withstands the test of time.
Mm-hmm.
Because the dinosaurs are not CGI, they're animatronic and they look real.
Yep.
And it's just like, it's like, why not just use makeup? That drove me nuts.
It's the easiest. Well, I'd like to think it's the easiest thing to do, because you just color him blue.
Yeah, I know, but is it? Because I probably still have to put those little dots on him to track his face,
so he can move around and everything. But thank God they made him part of his powers were becoming just looking like everybody else.
Yeah.
So he could just be Will Smith in costume instead of fake genie. But
I think it would have ruined the film for me if he had been Blue Genie the whole time.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would have been so taken out of it,
And I really liked. I was really excited that Nasim Pedrad was in the movie, because I really like her on SNL.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very excited that she had a role as the handmaid.
She was so cute.
One of my favorite things in a romantic movie is if they have a side romance, because a lot of the time I think the side romance is almost more intriguing and cute than the main romance.
Yeah.
And I felt this way about this one, how her and the genie had this attraction, and I just thought it was really sweet. It was really
thought
cute.
It was too.
Because their story is done on the fringes, so we only get snippets of their story.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot left to the imagination, and I like that it's it's kind of veiled, so not everything is shown to us, and I like that.
It was, and they were both so awkward.
Yes.
And it was really endearing.
It was endearing and sweet. And then at the end, she's his wife, and she's the one who... She's the mother of his kids that he's...
I love that movie so
much! It was so fun! It was so fun!
It was a very fun movie. And I loved Jasmine. I thought she was fantastic. The song that she did was awesome. She was this kick-ass character, and I love that she became Sultan at the end.
I did too. I thought that was incredible.
Was so cool.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of the people we work with, who I sit next to, who I'm not going to name, but you know who you are. He knows.
Yikes.
He knows who he is.
Yikes.
And he was like, I just thought that they should have made Aladdin Sultan, and I was all getting all like, excuse me, no, Jasmine was a perfect Sultan. Like she was all like, I was getting all like self-righteous and like, you know.
Not
like,
only is she the perfect Sultan, but she was born into it.
she was like literally raised to do this her whole life versus this guy who's like been stealing his entire life.
He wouldn't have been a good Sultan because he's a commoner who grew up as a thief. Who I don't think he would be able to handle the influx of power. He couldn't handle the power the genie gave him. Why would he be able to handle?
No, definitely not. And he said that, so I was just like, and then, you know, one of our other coworkers was walking up and was kind of listening to us. And I'm like, well, he's wrong and I'm right. And he started laughing. But I was just like, dude.
No, I thought
it was awesome that she was made Sultan.
Jasmine becoming Sultan was the right ending.
It was and
perfect.
It would have been, especially with how she was pushing it so much to her dad, was that it was like, if they hadn't made that happen, it would have been such a disappointing ending.
Yep. And she proved herself because she agreed to marry Jafar to like bring peace, and she sort of proved herself, and she called out to Hakim, the guard, and made him sort of change.
Scene.
So powerful.
Dude.
Yeah. So I think she proved herself. She deserved the title. She was born into it.
I do. Yeah, I agree. That scene actually, I think, gave me like, there was a bunch of scenes where I was like goosebumps like all over, and that's when I know that I really like something, because if you give me goosebumps, that means I'm really feeling it. And like with the Hakeem thing, with the with, you know, her being like, you're a man of honor or whatever. Oh, it was so good. It was really, so good.
And you could see in the scene her father, like, I think he probably made the decision then. We're like, okay, she deserves to be Sultan.
Yeah, it just, it was so good. And then when she's singing her song and she's like breaking away from the guards and like, oh my god, I loved her so much. I loved her. Like, she was awesome. She was just like, I love it. You know, and I like the way that they designed the city and everything. I thought that was really well done. I loved the prince that came to visit her.
He was probably him in his part, and then the part where Aladdin was like going off the rails, talking about all the rich things he brought that we already talked about.
Yeah.
Those two parts are probably like the two parts that surprised me the most, because I was really laughing, and I wish that prince had been in it more, because I loved his German accent.
He was so funny. Like, there was my supervisor said something about how people were getting all upset that he wasn't, like, he was a white guy or something, and I was like, okay, but he was clearly from like the
Europe.
Netherlands or something.
He had, like, a German or a Dutch accent or something.
Well, like, and just the way he was dressed, it was very like, he was clearly from a place that was cold. You know? And which, like, it's funny that he's wearing all this stuff when he's in the middle of, you know, Agrabah, but, you know, that's like in the middle of the desert. Well, kind of, but, you know, but he was, it made sense that he looked the way he did, that he was blonde-haired and blue-eyed because of where, like, he was evidently, like, he was clearly from, Europe, like what you said, or he was from...
I don't understand why people would get upset at that, like, it's totally normal for somebody from a different part of the world to come try to marry a sultan's daughter.
It's, you know... Like,
that's what alliances are.
Exactly.
Why are people upset?
And that's the thing that was totally done all the time back in the day, you know, is you were trying to... It wasn't that you were marrying someone because you loved them. You were marrying them because it was convenient and because it gave you power, you know? But he was just so funny that he was so great. He was great, yeah.
He did a really good job.
I thought they did a good job with casting. I thought, you know, I mean, it was like Disney was trying to really stay true to having everyone look like they were, you know, Middle Eastern descent.
Yeah,
and
they
I
did
thought
a really
that was
good job of that, I thought.
And it's like refreshing too, because you just, you know, after a while, like, you just want diversity. You want that representation. You want to, you know, it's like when I was talking to you about Broad City and how they had that whole depression thing and how I felt like I was like, oh my God, finally some representation. You know, it really stood out to me because I was struggling with my own anxiety and depression, and I was like, oh my God, I'm like, it's like so normalizing it, but I'm like, thank you, you know, and what I have experienced is certainly not as, you know, I have a very mild form of it, but it was still like, it just made me feel good, you know, it made me feel like there's someone else out there who is in the same boat that I am in, and so I really, I don't know, I thought that they did such a good job with this movie, and I'm sorry to Guy Ritchie about every bad thing I said about him being a director of this movie, because I was not convinced that he was going to do it right, but I think he did a great job.
I do like Guy Ritchie's style, weirdly enough. I can pick it out. Remember when we were in the theater a while ago and the trailer came on? And I
It was for like that King Arthur movie?
And I said, this looks like a Guy Ritchie movie, and then it was like directed by Guy Ritchie, and I felt so accomplished.
You were like, it was so, I remember that because you were like, what is this, Guy Ritchie?
And it was
like Guy Ritchie, and I was like, hey!
And I think, unlike, actually to tie it into our Batman versus Superman talk, Guy Ritchie has a very distinct style, but this movie kind of proves that he can wield it in a way that works for the movie that's being made, instead of just like, this is my style and everyone has to work around it.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
So I think he is able to sort of manipulate it so that all the pieces work together in a way that is awesome instead of like just a mess. So
I agree, yeah. And you know, he can still have his little bursts of like distinctive style without it being like overwhelmingly Guy Ritchie-ish.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, because
right.
if you show me the movie and didn't tell me it was him, there might be a few telltale things like the chase scene and everything.
Yeah.
If I was thinking about
when
it,
he
I
fell
might
into the water.
Yeah, I'd say this looks kind of like Guy Ritchie did it, but as a whole movie, I wouldn't necessarily say, "Oh, is this a Guy Ritchie movie?"
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see how many times we can say Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, Guy Ritchie is. Yeah. You know, I think he dated Madonna. Guy Ritchie.
I think
dated
so.
Madonna.
Guy Ritchie.
Yeah. I think Guy Ritchie dated her for a while. You know, so maybe they were married. Guy Ritchie. She was Madonna Ritchie.
Madonna Ritchie.
I don't know. But so very, very cool. He's a cool guy. You know, get it? Because his name is Guy.
Oh. I was
so long.
because I was thinking, for some reason, I was like, wait, Richie doesn't mean cool. Why would she say that? I didn't even think about his name being Guy. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
that's a pretty picture.
my darling. Yes. It looks like a snow globe. We have my Chromecast on and it's showing all the lovely photos.
See the lovely lakes.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, so I don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about that movie.
No, I just really liked it. I
really liked it too.
I mean, if you're in the mood for something fun, I would recommend it.
And you like Disney?
Yeah.
I did read one thing that someone said that Speechless, her song, Jasmine's song, is going to be the next Let It Go.
Oh, wow. I don't know, because I don't even remember the melody,
remember
so I doubt it. But that's,
but I have to tell you, ever since I read that, I've been singing Let It Go all day. So
the reason Let It Go is so popular is because you can't.
Yeah, no, you cannot. No, I know.
And it's really memorable. Like, it's a memorable melody, and the words are easy to remember, whereas, did Jasmine even sing a song?
I was like, well, and I keep thinking, every time I hear Speechless, I think of that Lady Gaga song that's called Speechless. It's like one of her first albums, but, so it's, and that's not even remotely close. Like, she sounds more like Amy Winehouse. You're giving me weird luck. Oh my god. I don't know what that was. What was that? It was so strange.
Okay.
Anyway.
So, I guess we've reached the end of another episode.
I think I'm losing my mind. It's fine. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say. I just really liked it. I thought it was
fun. It surprised me, and a big time surprised me.
I like that it was comedy, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had a lot of
And it
It
wasn't.
was like genuinely funny
Yeah,
moments
it
too.
was clever comedy.
Yeah.
It was well written.
Exactly. It was, yeah.
And well acted.
Yeah.
The people who were acting had good comedic timing.
They
so
did.
All the parts in the machine worked
Yeah.
together.
It was very pretty too. I liked it.
Yeah,
It was very,
pretty.
very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Acrobat was gorgeous. And there was like a bunch of scenes where I kept expecting to come up and they didn't, and I liked that though.
Yeah.
You know, like I was like,
knowing
it
what was
wasn't a
coming.
scene for scene remake.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what Beauty and the Beast was. And that's why it was so bad. It was
And Cinderella
so
was
bad.
really good because it wasn't a scene for scene remake.
Yeah.
either.
Oh,
So.
Cinderella was so good.
Cinderella's the best of the live
That was
action.
such a good one.
Yeah.
I mean,
But yeah, so watch Cinderella, watch Aladdin, skip Beauty and the Beast.
Don't watch Beauty and the Beast. Unless you're like a huge fan of Emma Watson, then I feel sorry for you, but whatever. It's my own. You know. I'm just being a jerk now.
So,
Am I mean? I think I'm mean. I keep asking you this, but I think I am.
I think you're fine.
Oh, thanks.
All right.
Anyway, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. I think we're maybe on Stitcher. I don't know because they are giving me the runaround. And we might be on iTunes. I know we're on Spotify, but you can't search for us, so good luck. I am trying to post everything that we have on Facebook. You know, but stuff happens.
She does really well with the Instagram as
I'm
well.
exhausted. Yeah.
And the Facebook.
I'm just tired.
Anything you see that looks like it requires work, Lauren has done.
I am the yes.
She's the champ of all
I am the one. I am the producer.
Yeah,
I am the ultimate producer.
She's got it all going.
Yeah.
And you do a really good job with it.
Thank you.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. I try, you know. I kind of like having that control. It's just my own.
You have a lot more patience than me. Like, if I tried something and it didn't work the first time, I'd say, well, I guess we just shouldn't do this then, because...
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of moments where you would have been like, I'm out of here, like throwing your laptop across the room. You're like,
Yeah.
I give up. And
When
then-
you texted me at first, you were saying...
Oh my god,
you were
I was
trying
like
to-
20 texts in a row where I was like, I don't know if this is working, oh my god.
And I thought, after 2 tries, I probably would have said, I hope you don't mind that we're just recording these for ourselves, because I can't figure it out. So she does a good job. You do a good job.
Thank you. I'm trying my best to get everything on iTunes and Spotify. I don't know why they're not showing up. I'm very confused. So I mean, we're on SoundCloud. That's gonna be your best bet. That's the best way to find us, I think. So yeah, everyone have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay.